I want you to picture a house. It's beautiful, right?
Hmm.
It's sitting right on the water in the Pacific Northwest. Mist rolling off the lake, towering evergreens, the whole Twilight
I
aesthetic.
can see it perfectly.
But then you get closer and you start to realize the foundation is kind of rotting.
The pink's peeling.
The roof is leaking, and sitting in your living room, refusing to leave, is a guy on a motorcycle who tells you that you owe him $100,000.
And you can't kick him out.
You can't.
Not because of squatters' rights or anything like that, but because your dead fiancé invited him.
Right. Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're cracking open a file that, on the surface, it feels like a romance novel.
It does.
The source is Lake Magic by Kimberly Fisk. But once we started looking at the documents, at the character profiles and the financial records involved here, we realized this is actually a brutal case study.
It's so deceptive. You go in expecting like a light beach read,
Yeah.
and suddenly you're in a seminar on debt management, the psychology of grief, and the absolute toxicity of some family systems.
Exactly. We are looking at the collision between a free-spirited dreamer who is trying desperately to hold on to the past
Mhm.
and a rigid military pragmatist who is desperate to escape it. But before we get to the romance or the disaster, depending on how you look at it, we need to set the stage. Because the location here isn't just a backdrop.
No, it's practically a character in itself.
It really is.
Hidden Lake, Washington.
Hidden Lake. It sounds idyllic, doesn't it? It's this small, close-knit community on the outskirts of Seattle, but, we all know what close-knit actually means in a small town.
Oh, yeah. It means surveillance.
Total surveillance. It means the gossip mill moves faster than fiber optic internet.
Right.
It means that everyone knows your business before you even get home to tell your family. And standing right in the center of this fishbowl is our protagonist, Jenny Beckinsale.
Okay, so let's look at Jenny's file. She's 26 years old. She's living in that sprawling lake house we mentioned, the one she inherited from her grandmother.
Right.
So to an outside observer, maybe a tourist driving through, she looks like she has it made. Waterfront property, young, attractive, the whole package.
But the reality?
Oh, the reality.
She is drowning.
She is operating on absolute emotional fumes.
She's trying to keep a seaplane charter business called Blue Sky Air afloat. And here is the kicker, the context that changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
She is doing this 9 months after the death of her fiancé, Steven Harmon.
That timeline is so critical. 9 months. In the grand scheme of grief, that is like 5 minutes.
Barely a blip.
Right. So she isn't just a bad business owner. She is a grieving woman who is suffering from what I'd call preservation bias.
Mm-hmm.
She is trying to keep this business alive, not because it makes any financial sense. If you look at the P&L sheets implied in the text,
Oh, they're a nightmare.
this business is a disaster. It's hemorrhaging money.
So why is she doing it? Why keep it going?
Because the business is the only piece of Steven she has left. It's not a startup to her. It's a shrine.
Wow.
If the business fails, she feels like she loses him all over again.
That is a terrifying amount of pressure to put on a ledger. And just when she thinks she is merely struggling to, pay the bills and keep the lights on, the floor drops out.
Completely.
She discovers that she is not the sole owner of Blue Sky Air. Steven, her saint of a late fiancé, had a secret partner.
And that partner has just rolled into town on a very, very loud motorcycle to collect a massive debt.
So this is the setup. You have Jenny, who is rooted in place by grief and family history. She is the immovable object.
And then you have Jared Worth, this disillusioned fighter pilot who wants nothing more than to cash out and disappear to Mexico. He is the unstoppable force. And the stakes are just incredibly high. We aren't just talking about bankruptcy here. We are talking about identity. We were talking about that crushing pressure of trying to be who your family wants you to be versus who you actually are.
So let's unpack that case study aspect of this. We really need to understand Jenny's reality before Jared shows up. Because we mentioned she has the lake house. She also drives a Corvette.
A Corvette.
A $50,000 sports car.
Which is such a fascinating detail, isn't it?
It seems completely contradictory. She can't pay her electric bill, but she's driving a Corvette.
This is where we get into the sociology of image in small business, and honestly, the psychology of what we call signaling.
Okay, break that down for us.
Well, look at the source material. The text is very explicit. The Corvette was Steven's car.
Right.
It was Steven's necessity for image. He actually told her, if we're going to land the big accounts, baby, we need to look like money.
The old fake it till you make it.
Exactly. But in economics, signaling is costly. If you are a peacock, You grow a giant, beautiful tail to show how healthy you are, even though that tail makes it way harder to fly away from predators.
So it's a liability.
It's a huge liability. Steven bought a giant tail, the Corvette, to signal success. But the reality,
It's a business.
the business, the bird itself, was sick.
The bird was dying. Let's look at the actual state of Blue Sky Air.
It's a horror show. I mean, truly. The hangar is rotting. There is a literal hole in the side of the building where the weather gets in.
I mean, we're in Washington. The weather gets in a lot.
Constantly. The paint is peeling. They have one pilot, Zeke.
And Zeke isn't exactly Top Gun material,
No. Zeke works when the spirit moves him. He sets his own hours.
which is not a great business model for a charter service.
Not at all. So you have business with high overhead, degrading assets, unreliable staff, and almost no customers. Maybe 1 or 2 charters a week.
That's not a business. That's an expensive hobby.
It's a liability, a huge one. But Jenny is stuck driving this Corvette, which she can't even drive properly, by the way. The text says she grinds the gears constantly.
Oh, that's painful.
It is. But she's trapped in Steven's signaling loop. She has to maintain the facade, because if she stops, she has to admit that Steven wasn't a genius businessman.
Right.
He was a guy who spent money on flash instead of foundation.
And admitting that would be like admitting he wasn't perfect, which she just can't do.
Not yet.
And that brings us to the other reason she can't quit. The family.
Oh, the family.
We have to talk about the Beckinsale dynamic. Because if the business is the anchor dragging her down, the family is the water she's drowning in.
It's a textbook dysfunctional family system. If you look at family systems theory, every member has a role. You have the golden child, or the hero.
That would be Paul and Anna, the siblings.
Right. Paul is the perfect lawyer. Success just flows out of him. He's the protector, the responsible one. Then you have Anna, the high-powered obstetrician. She saves babies for a living. You can't compete with that.
No.
And the mother, Catherine.
Catherine is the architect of the whole system.
Totally. She runs a successful bistro and art gallery. She is elegant, organized, never has a hair out of place. She is the standard bearer for excellence.
And then there's Jenny.
And then there is Jenny. The phrase that comes up repeatedly in the text, it's almost a catchphrase for the family, is, "Oh, Jennifer."
I hated reading that. Every time they said it, my shoulders just tensed up. Oh, Jennifer.
It's so dismissive, isn't it? It's a sigh of disappointment packed into 2 words. In that family system, Jenny is the identified patient, or the scapegoat.
Explains.
The family needs someone to be the mess so they can feel superior, or so they can bond over fixing her.
She's the screw-up.
In their eyes, yes.
Yeah.
And they have evidence. They have a whole list. She had a vintage clothing store that failed. She had a coffee stand that closed in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. How do you close a coffee stand in Seattle in 2 weeks? That takes a special kind of talent.
It does suggest a certain lack of follow-through.
Yeah.
So when we meet her, she is already in a defensive crouch. She feels like the family charity case.
Yeah.
There is a specific line in the text where she compares saving Blue Sky Air to Custer's last stand.
That is grim.
It is. She says this is the last chance she'd have to prove to her family that they were wrong about her. So think about the psychology there. She isn't keeping the business because of the P&L statement. She's keeping it because if she liquidates, she confirms her mother's narrative.
She proves that she is, in fact, Jennifer.
Exactly.
So she's trapped. If she quits, she loses her dignity and her connection to Steven. If she stays, she goes bankrupt.
It's a classic double bind.
Yeah.
And she's paralyzed.
Until the motorcycle shows up. Let's talk about the inciting incident, because the contrast here is it's delicious. Jenny is having lunch with her mother at the bistro.
Which I just imagine smells like lavender and judgment.
Lavender and judgment, exactly. They are eating salad niçoise. Jenny is probably being told her capris are the wrong season or something.
Something passive-aggressive for sure.
And suddenly, boom, the windows rattle.
Enter the disruption.
A massive black motorcycle pulls up. The rider is described as Bad Boy USA.
I mean, it's a bit on the nose, but it works.
It totally works. Leather jacket, dark hair, intense blue eyes. He walks in and the whole atmosphere of the place just changes.
It's a classic archetype, but it works because he disrupts the sterile environment of the bistro just by existing. And what's so interesting is the immediate reaction. Jenny is physically attracted to him, which flusters her. But her mother is also rattled. He represents chaos entering her perfectly curated world.
But he's not there for the salad. He walks right up to their table and introduces himself as Jenny's partner.
And this is where we need to put on our legal hats for a second. because the details of this partnership are messy.
So messy.
We learned that Steven didn't just start this business with his own savings. He started it with a $100,000 loan from Jared Worth, a loan Jenny knew nothing about.
Which, can we just pause there? What does that say about her relationship with Steven?
It says trust was an issue, or at the very least transparency was. Steven hid a six-figure debt from his future wife. That is a massive red flag.
Huge.
But the terms of the loan are even more interesting. It was an interest-free loan.
Which sounds generous, right?
It is incredibly generous. That's a friend doing you a major solid. But it had a kind of balloon clause. It had a 3-year term.
Okay.
If not repaid in full, by the end of 3 years, Jared becomes an equal partner. Or, and here is the weapon, he can force a liquidation of assets.
Explain liquidation to us like we aren't bankruptcy lawyers. What does that actually mean for Jenny?
Liquidation means a fire sale. It means you stop trying to run the business and you just sell the parts for scrap to pay off creditors.
So sell the plane.
Sell the plane, sell the tools, and most importantly, sell the land the hangar sits on.
And the land is the only thing of any real value.
Correct. The business itself is worthless because it has no cash flow. But the land, waterfront property near Seattle, that is the gold mine.
And the clock is ticking on this contract.
4 months. There are 4 months left on the 3-year term.
So Jenny is panicking. She does what anyone would do. She runs to her big brother, Paul, the lawyer. And this scene, man, this scene frustrated me. I wanted Paul to step up.
Me too.
I wanted him to look at the contract and find some loophole, some way out.
But he doesn't. And honestly, this is where the perfect family mask slips. Paul confirms the debt is real. He admits, get this, he admits he messed up by not reviewing the documents closely when Steven signed them.
Wait, so he failed his fiduciary duty as her family's lawyer?
Morally, maybe. He kind of blames himself but then brushes past it.
Yeah.
Instead of taking responsibility or helping her fight, he immediately pivots to the family default setting.
Oh, Jennifer.
Pretty much. He says, maybe having a partner isn't such a bad idea. Or let mom and dad bail you out.
He immediately invalidates her. He doesn't say, we can fix this, Jenny. He says, you can't handle this, Jenny. Let the adults handle it.
He infantilizes her.
Yeah.
And that is the trigger. If he had said, okay, this is tough, but let's fight, she might have been rational.
She might have listened.
But because he suggested she run to mommy and daddy, she digs her heels in. She refuses the buyout. She refuses to sell. She decides she is going to turn this sinking ship around in 4 months just to spite them.
It's Custer's last stand, fueled by sibling rivalry.
Which is a very, very powerful fuel source.
So now we have our antagonist, Jared Worth. But he's not just some loan shark in a leather jacket. We need to do a profile on him. Who is this guy?
Jared is a fascinating study in trauma and disillusionment. If Jenny is the scapegoat, Jared is the orphan.
Literally.
Literally. He grew up in foster care. He never had a family, never fit in anywhere.
Until the Navy?
Right. The military is often a magnet for people looking for structure and belonging. And Jared found a home in the Navy. He became a top-tier fighter pilot. His call sign was the Ghost.
The Ghost. That implies he's hard to pin down, elusive.
Elusive. Efficient. He doesn't leave a trace. Steven, Jenny's fiancé, apparently worshipped him. He described Jared as a god in the sky. He used the word magic.
But the god fell from the sky.
He did. The text alludes to a botched mission or a political situation. He mentions bureaucrats in Washington. That led to him resigning. This is a classic institutional betrayal. Jared gave his life to the system, and the system shoot him up and spit him out. So now he is angry. He is cynical. He is, and this is a quote, disillusioned, seeking isolation.
That explains his goal. He doesn't want to run a seaplane business.
He hates seaplanes. He calls them sissy-ass seaplanes.
Yeah.
This is the guy who's used to flying F-18s at Mach 2. Putting around in a prop plane is an insult to him.
He just wants his money so he can go to Mexico and buy a plot of land where no one can find him.
Exactly. It's pure isolationism. He thinks if he removes himself from people, from systems, he can't get hurt again.
So you have Jenny, who is fighting for connection to her land, to her dead fiancé, to her family. And you have Jared, who is fighting for disconnection.
Immovable object, unstoppable force.
But he can't vanish yet because Jenny doesn't have the cash. And this leads to the invasion of space. This is my favorite part of the story mechanics. He needs a place to stay.
And Hidden Lake doesn't exactly have a Hilton.
No. He tries to stay at the local B&B, Murphy's, which sounds like a Victorian nightmare.
Lace doilies everywhere. Purple paint.
And the owner, Lovey Murphy, is leaving for a family reunion. So he gets kicked out after one night.
Convenient.
So he shows up at Jenny's door with a letter.
The letter from the grave. This is such a masterstroke of guilt. It's a letter from Steven, written before he died, inviting Jared to stay. Jen, and I would love to have you.
Jen, no. Hearing that nickname, that intimate, silly nickname coming out of this stranger's mouth, that must have felt like a violation on a cellular level.
It's a complete violation of her privacy and her grief. But it also creates an obligation, doesn't it?
It does.
Steven invited him. If she kicks him out, she's dishonoring Steven's last wish. So against every single instinct she has, she lets him move in.
And the odd couple dynamic begins. And I think we need to talk about the clash of lifestyles here because it's not just, he's messy, she's clean. It's much deeper than that.
It's chaos versus control. Jared is military. He makes his bed so tight you can bounce a quarter off it. He runs at 0700 hours, sharp. His life is regimented because that's how he survives trauma.
You control the environment to control the fear.
Exactly.
And Jenny?
Jenny is pure chaos. Her house is cluttered. She has insomnia. She wanders around at night. She's messy. She lives in her emotions.
And nowhere is this clash more evident than when Jared decides to take over the office.
The office scene.
It's so good.
I laughed out loud at this. He walks into the hangar office, and it is not an office. It is an archaeological dig of Jenny's life.
It's a storage unit for her emotional hoarding. Old magazines, nail polish, boxes of junk. It represents her mind-cluttered, unfocused.
And Jared just cleans it. He throws away her nail polish.
Which is such an aggressive move.
And then he finds the magazine.
The magazine? Oh, man.
Cosmopolitan or something similar. And the headline is staring him in the face. 10 positions guaranteed to drive him wild.
Imagine the scene. You have the ghost, this hardened warrior, this disillusioned pilot, holding up a quiz about sex positions.
It is total mortification for Jenny. But look at what he does. He doesn't just tease her. He throws it away. He clears the deck, and he replaces it with a new motto written on a whiteboard. Plan, brief, execute.
Which is the most buzzkill motto in history.
It is. But he's trying to impose order on her chaos. He genuinely thinks if he can just organize the business, it will make money.
But he's completely missing the human element. He treats the business like a mission. Target, profitability, obstacles, nail polish, and emotions.
But Jenny fights back. She doesn't yell, she doesn't argue, she engages in the war of attrition, passive-aggressive resistance. And this leads to the cooking.
Jenny weaponizes her incompetence. She is a terrible cook, but she leans into it. She cooks as these rubbery, burnt eggs, hoping he'll be so disgusted he'll just leave.
She wants him to run back to the B&B, even though it's closed, but he doesn't crack.
He eats them. Every bite. He cleans the plate. It's a total power move. You cannot disgust me. I have eaten MREs in the desert. Your burnt toast is nothing.
It's an incredible battle of wills. But then she escalates. And this is where I want to get your take, because this felt borderline ethical to me. The hives incident.
Stinging nettles.
Jared is out clearing brush on the property. He's trying to improve the curb appeal, which is, arguably increasing the value of her asset. And he walks right into a patch of stinging nettles.
Which were nasty. Really painful.
And Jenny is watching from the window. She knows they are there. She knows what nettles do, and she says nothing.
She lets him walk right into the ambush.
Is that... okay. I mean, he's an intruder, sure, but that's inflicting physical pain.
It's definitely in the gray side of the moral spectrum. But you have to look at it from her perspective. She has zero power in this situation.
Right.
He has the law, the money, the contract, the physical strength. The only leverage she has is local knowledge. She knows the land. He doesn't.
So it's guerrilla warfare.
Exactly. It's the resistance fighter, letting the occupying soldier walk into a trap. It's petty, yes. But it shows how desperate she is. She wants him to hurt because she is hurting.
Hurt people, hurt people.
It's a cliche because it's true.
But this pressure cooker environment, living together, the eggs, the nettles, it's doing something weird, isn't it? It's breaking down the walls.
It has to. It forces proximity. You can't demonize someone when you see them brushing their teeth in the morning.
True.
Jared starts to see that Jenny isn't just a pampered princess driving a Corvette. He sees her struggling. He sees the insomnia. And Jenny sees that Jared isn't just a monster. He's a guy who gets hives. He's a guy who is trying to fix things, even if he's a total jerk about it.
Now, while this war is raging at the lake house, I want to zoom out to the subplot. Because we talked about the perfect family, but we need to dive into Anna, the sister.
Anna is the foil. She is the perfect mirror image of Jenny.
She has the life Jenny is supposed to want, right? She's a successful doctor. She's respected. She's married to another doctor. She has the career, the house.
But let's look closer at that life. Her husband, Philip, is with Doctors Without Borders in Sri Lanka.
That sounds incredibly noble.
It is noble. But for a marriage, it's a disaster. He is barely reachable. He's a voice on a satellite phone for a few minutes a week. So Anna is, for all intents and purposes, a single mother.
And her son, Cody. We have to talk about Cody.
Cody is 13, and he has blue hair.
In a conservative, high-achieving family like the Beckinsales, blue hair is a scream for help.
It's a neon sign that says, "Look at me, please." His grades are failing. He's depressed. He is crying out for attention from his workaholic mother.
There is a scene that just broke my heart. Anna gets the promotion she's been dreaming of, chief of the neonatal unit.
The pinnacle.
This is the pinnacle of her career. She comes home to celebrate. The housekeeper, and notice it's not the mom, it's the housekeeper, has made a cake.
And Cody refuses to come downstairs.
He won't eat the cake. He won't celebrate her success.
And Anna ends up eating alone or just throwing the cake away. This scene just captures the myth of having it all. Anna has the title, the money, the prestige, but she has no connection. She is literally saving other people's babies while her own son is drowning emotionally.
And the contrast with Jenny is so sharp here. Jenny is the failure, the one with the rotting business and the debt. But Jenny notices people.
Jenny has presence. Anna has success. And the book seems to be asking, which one is actually more valuable? Jenny might be a complete mess, but she is emotionally available. Anna is walled off by her own competence.
It's the difference between being impressive and being connected.
Precisely. And I have this theory that the blue hair is Cody trying to be a screw-up like Jenny, just to get some kind of reaction from his mother.
That's a deep insight. He's emulating the aunt because the aunt is the only one in the family who seems real.
It's possible. He sees her getting attention, even if it's negative, and he wants some of that.
Okay, let's get back to the main standoff. Jared realizes the plan, brief, execute strategy isn't working. He can clean the office, but he can't conjure customers out of thin air, so he pivots. He decides to force the sale of the land.
He goes for the nuclear option. He invites a realtor, this guy Brad Owen, to the house without telling Jenny.
This is the ultimate betrayal. Jenny comes home from running errands and finds a stranger measuring her drapes, basically, talking about comps in the neighborhood.
And her reaction is visceral. It's not about the market value. It's not about the money. She tells them, "This land is as much a part of me as my heart." It was homesteaded by her great-grandparents.
It's her roots. It's her entire identity.
And this is the turning point for Jared.
Why? He's a pragmatist. He's all about the bottom line. Why does he care about her great-grandparents?
Because he doesn't have any. Remember, he's the orphan. He has no roots. He has never had a place that was part of his heart. He's been moving from foster home to barracks his whole life.
So when he sees her fighting for the land,
he recognizes a value that he doesn't understand, but on some level he respects. He sees that for Jenny, the currency isn't dollars. It's history. It's belonging. And oddly, that touches him.
There's the garden scene too, right? He just watches her gardening.
Yeah, he watches her with her hands in the dirt, planting things. And he realizes he can't bully her into this. If he forces the sale, he isn't just taking an asset. He's destroying her identity. And despite his tough exterior, Jared isn't a destroyer. He's a protector who lost his way.
So he backs off. He calls off the realtor.
Which is a huge pivot. He gives up the easy exit, the quick cash out.
But he's still stuck. He can't sell the land, which means he must make the business work to get his money back.
He doubles down. If he can't liquidate, he has to renovate. He has to make it profitable.
Which brings us to the deeper themes. We've talked about the plot, but let's talk about what's really driving the bus here: grief and avoidance.
It is the ghost in the machine. Absolutely everyone in this story is avoiding the truth about Steven.
The family doesn't talk about him because they think silence helped Jenny move on.
Which is the worst advice, by the way. Suppression just makes it fester. It's like putting a lid on a boiling pot.
And Jenny keeps the business to physically hold on to him. But Jared forces the issue just by breathing. He was Steven's best friend. He has the letter. He has Steven's flight helmet.
He is a living, breathing reminder of the man who died. And there is that moment where Jared notices Jenny is still wearing her engagement ring.
A ring from a man who has been dead for 9 months.
And the text says Jared feels jealous of a dead man.
That is so complex. Is he jealous that Jenny loves Steven? Or is he jealous that Steven had someone like Jenny to love him?
I think it's both. But there's also anger there. We have to remember, from Jared's perspective, Steven was not a saint.
Not at all.
Steven was a guy who took out a secret $100,000 loan, bought a flashy car he couldn't afford, and left his fiancée with a rotting building and a mountain of debt.
Jared is the one cleaning up Steven's mess.
Exactly. Stephen got all the glory and the love. Jared is doing the dirty work. That has to breed some resentment. He looks at that ring and he's thinking, why are you loyal to him? He left you completely vulnerable. I'm the one here trying to save you.
It flips the script entirely. The saint was actually selfish, and the sinner is, in his own way, being selfless.
In his own grumpy, aggressive, tactical way, yes.
Let's look at one more theme before we wrap up. Perception versus reality. We mentioned the Oh, Jennifer syndrome. The family sees a child, a mess up. But Jared, the outsider, he starts to see something else.
There is that pivotal scene with a charter couple. An older couple going to Victoria for an anniversary.
Right.
Now, based on her brother's opinion or her mother's, Jenny should be a disaster at this. She should mess up the booking or lose their luggage or something.
But she doesn't.
She is magnificent. She brings them fresh flowers from her garden. She listens to their stories about their grandchildren. She makes them feel special, like they're the only people in the world. She creates an experience.
She has the soft skills, the people skills.
Exactly. Hard skills can be taught. You can teach someone to balance a ledger. You cannot teach warmth. You cannot teach genuine hospitality. And Jared watches this and he realizes she is the asset.
She is the magic in Lake Magic.
Precisely. The business fails on paper, but it succeeds in humanity because of her. It validates that she does have a valuable skill, just not the kind of skill her family values.
They value law degrees and medical licenses, not making an old couple happy.
Right.
So, as we wrap up this file, where are we? What is the current state of affairs in Hidden Lake?
We are in a fascinating stalemate. Jared is living in a house, occupying the spare room like a very intense, very tidy roommate. The debt is unpaid. Jenny has successfully defended the land. She refuses to sell, but she still has no way to pay him back.
And the pressure is mounting from all sides. Anna is drowning in her own life. The parents are back from Alaska and are adding their own pressure on Jenny to come to her senses. And the business is still teetering on the edge of oblivion.
And emotionally, the walls are crumbling. Jenny is no longer numb. She's angry, she's fighting, and she is feeling an attraction to Jared despite herself. She's waking up from the coma of grief.
So here is the big question and the provocative thought I want to leave our listeners with today. We have two people who seem to be running in opposite directions. Jenny, who is holding on so tight to the past.
And Jared, who is running as fast as he can away from it.
But look closer. Are they really opposites? Or are they both just trapped? Jenny is trapped by a ghost Steven's memory. Jared is trapped by his own ghost. His past in the military, his cynicism, and now this obligation to a failing business.
That's a great point. He came here to get free, and he's more entangled than ever.
Exactly. So the question is, can two people who are running in opposite directions actually save each other, or will the collision just destroy them both?
And maybe the deeper question is, does Jenny actually want to save the business, or does she just want to save the memory? Because sooner or later, she's going to have to choose between the dead fiancé and the living partner.
Deep questions for a deep dive. We'll be thinking about this one for a while. That's all for today's file on Lake Magic. Thanks for listening.
Stay curious.